My bad.
It has been 8 weeks of grueling, hard racing on road courses and ovals, and it all ends here this evening for season number 2 of the LMCgear.com iRacing IndyCar Series at Watkins Glen International Raceway up here in the Finger Lakes region of New York. Good Monday evening. Welcome to the finale, the Alliance finale at the Glen. It's Chris Scala, the captain, with you. Of course, Gary Gonzo joining me as he did last week in Canada. He did so well that everybody said, bring him back, bring him back. And that's what we did. We brought him back here to Watkins Glen. And tonight, Gary, we have a finale in our hands. We're going to crown ourselves a champion and talk about this track because some people might be used to the whole non-boot section. Unless they're an IndyCar fan, then they know about this boot that they're going to be running here on this big track tonight.
Yeah, you betcha. This is we're going to crown a champion tonight. We're going to crown a team champion tonight, and we're going to find a new owner of this joint because right now Scott Dixon owns this absolute joint with the most wins of all the career IndyCar drivers that have ever been here. This is a fantastic course. Like you said it right. Most people know this from the Bud at the Glen or Frontier at the Glen, or whatever they called it back in the day for NASCAR. NASCAR has actually changed the course a little bit. We'll talk about the bus stop chicane and why it's there. But really, a lot of people didn't know that there was a boot unless you're a Formula One fan or a longtime kart fan. And it is a whole other section of the course. It's a little bit more technical than the what we call the non-boot section. And you get a good chance to take a look at that and so the drivers navigate that. But this is definitely a driver's course. This is very high speed. I did some recon laps here. I'm an oval driver, and even oval drivers are going to have a lot of fun here because there's a flow to the whole place. So you got to be smooth here, unlike other road courses where you could just kind of drive them in there and brake hard and brake late, that type of thing. This place, it doesn't reward that type of aggression.
Yeah, you got to be very smart. It's a very fast track. As you see with Craig Forsyth here, and you forgive me, I'm just working on a couple cameras here really quickly as we're talking here, but Craig Forsyth running laps out here really fast. You see Isaac Morris has gone to the top right now in qualifying at a 1:26.1. This course is over 3 miles, 3.37 to be exact. So this is no small course, but with all the straightaways, and here they go into the bus stop, there are plenty of places to pass and plenty of high-speed corners.
Yeah, the number of places during my recon laps where you're just foot is to the floor, you don't have that very often on road courses. Last week we saw that with the Andretti Straight at Road America. We saw that with the straight there at Road America. But that's pretty much only section of the course that you're really like that. This, you are on the accelerator a good 2 or 3 times. You're just to the floor. Some of these corners that look like they're slow speed corners, they're extremely fast, and we'll talk about it. But I think that we'll have a fun time watching this race. And if you think that the guys are having fun out there driving this thing, then you're probably right. I'm sure they are.
All right, so tell you what, we are in line for a great race this evening here. 15 cars have started a little bit here, so it's definitely going to be a fun race to be a part of here. And while we're taking a look here, let's, you know what, we got a quick minute. Let me get it all set up here, and we're going to go on board. Let's go on board. I'm trying to see who's on track right now. You know, Jim Herrick. I see he's on track right now. And I'm going to go, I got to go get everything prepped up real quickly with Brian Crump so he's prepared to know what he's in line for here in a second with me because, you know, how I surprise people. But let's get you, Gary, real quickly, and let's take you around a lap here on board the number 23 and get your views of what Jim is seeing here around this Watkins Glen track.
Okay, I gotta wait for the feed to come up.
Yeah,
on
you're fine.
Eventually.
Well, right now he's going into the bus stop. Well, you're going to have it earlier. But actually, we'll just keep going with what we got here because Jim is going into the carousel right now, and you're going to be behind from the stream. So no need to worry. I'm going to bring Brian down here, and then we're going to talk to him. As a matter of fact, Brian's here as Brian jumps in here. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the booth, sir.
Hello.
Surprise. I was going to come up and prepare you for stuff, but
I can't barely hear you guys.
That's barely hear me. Can you hear me now? Check, check, 1, 2. Uh-oh. Brian, can you hear me now? Uh-oh, Brian not able to hear me. That's not good. Live TV for you.
And dropped. Yes. And dropped.
All right, well, that's unfortunate there. Well, while we get a...
while you're working to get them back there, I mean, we're looking at Jim here. I can go over through the course a little bit. Oh, here we come.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear us, Brian?
We're good.
Brian, you got us?
Here, that better?
All right, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Very good. Brian Crump from Alliance joining us. They're the sponsors of tonight's Alliance finale at the Glen here, and we appreciate your time, first off, Brian, and we appreciate you guys coming in and sponsoring this series. As a matter of fact, this is not the first time you sponsored a race this season. We've seen Alliance not only on the cars but on the track and all. Talk a little bit about your company and what you guys do.
All right. Thank you very much for having us, by the way, first off. And we've been doing talent acquisition solutions for over 47 years now. And our primary focus is on engineering and IT staff augmentation, whether you're looking at doing a project and you need some temporary staff to kind of help get you through your peak period, or if you're looking at a direct hire or even a combination thereof, what we call the temp to hire type scenarios, or kind of a try before you buy type scenario. Again, I think a lot of people are familiar with the staffing model, at least, and we also, we kind of have a couple of areas outside of the temporary side that we focus on as well, which would be more of your direct placement, your direct hire, and people often have a lot of questions about that particular thing. Everybody kind of hears of it. A lot of people might know somebody who's in our industry or refer to us as headhunters in that regard oftentimes, which is fine. But, a lot of people, you'd be surprised, don't really know how that works. And, they just, or have some idea in their mind. Maybe they think that they have to pay for our services or something like that to help them find a job. And that's not the case. So when we perform like a direct placement service, I'd like to just kind of, when I get this opportunity to explain that a little bit more, debunk some mysteries, so to speak, right? But it would be, more of a platform where we as Alliance Group would charge and get hired from a company. For instance, one of our clients might be a Allison Transmission or a Cummins Engines, because we place a lot of engineers and that type of personnel, and in which case they would utilize our service to go out and find somebody. They're paying the fee for our services to find the talent that they need. So I just like a lot of people to know that, hey, if you're out looking for a position, you can come to a firm like ours if you're looking for an engineering or IT type, firm, and it's at no cost to you. As a matter of fact, part of our service in doing that, if we're looking for the right people, are even helping them with their resumes. And that's something that, we don't really even advertise much or speak much to be quite honest, but that's something that helps out a lot of our clients that are searching for new career opportunities. So like to just put that in there when I can. And we also do, if another solution of ours is statement of work. So essentially we are operating from a predefined scope of deliverables from our client, and we're providing an outsourced solution, a wrapped package, if you will, of talent for that engineering task, whatever that may be.
Right.
So we do that as well. It's kind of a group thing. So, and we also do some payroll services and things like that. But those are our core functions.
It seems like a field that's really growing, and something that a lot of people are going to need later in life. It seems like everything, you need somebody who knows how to do IT, know how to do computer work of any kind, and I think that's really big for a company like yours.
Absolutely. Because we in that area, definitely the field of IT, we have a wide client base, very wide client base, because as you just mentioned, everybody has computers these days. Everybody has a need, whether you're to enterprise level organization or you're down to a mom and pop business. You have to have computers. We're all relying on it. So it's nice to be able to find that talent that meets your specific needs too. So that's been a pleasure of ours to be able to service a multitude of industries outside of what we would typically do on a lot of our engineering staffing. So,
well, that's such a cool thing to hear. To hear somebody actually, helping get connected into a field like this. My first words I think of is like a third-party organization type of thing. But you're almost just being able to if somebody like me was really good with technology, I could come in, talk to you, and say, all right, who's looking for me, and you pretty much do the work.
Yes. We would help you out with your resume. If we feel that it needed, beefed up in certain areas, help out. I mean, we do, the consulting level of helping people through interviews if they haven't been, or even, I will say, help tweak somebody's interviewing skills, even if they have experienced, some interviews in the past. It never hurts because we're usually keeping up with the latest and greatest of what people want to hear. And, at that point, we've already tried to match. We've done a lot of that legwork for you because we have a relationship with our clients and we know their interviewing style. So we can kind of bring that to the table as well and say, okay, well, we have the inside edge of how they're going to interview, what that's going to look like, and just make that a more comfortable transition for the person versus, I'll give you an instance of, say, a cold call, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's kind of a warm transition, if you will, or a warm welcome versus going in blind.
Unless you're a salesman who has a lot of guts, cold calls are the hardest things to do.
Oh, tell me about it, yeah.
Nice. Well, if
That's
there's
why
any,
I work in IT.
Yeah, right.
That's why I do that, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if there's any questions, unfortunately, we're about to start the race here. Don't want to cut you short. We want you to have all the time you want to talk about your company being a sponsor here.
This is fine. This was perfect. Sorry about my technical difficulty.
No, it's all good. But if anybody,
intended there.
Yeah, right.
The first time on this app, so yes.
Does anybody know any IT guy? That's all.
Well, right, exactly. Right.
Well, if anybody wants to get a hold of Alliance, Brian, 47 years of hard work. How do they do so?
Email is one of the best ways. You can email myself directly, and I can put you in touch with whomever we need in the company. It's bcrump@alliancegrouptech.com.
Perfect.
And feel free to visit our website, alliancegrouptech.com. Or they can call the office directly. Our Indianapolis office is 317-254-8285.
That's pretty good without the pretty good on camera there, I'd say. I just realized I look over, I'm like, wait, he's on camera. You guys can't see it on the stream. But no, Brian, it's good to verbally meet you, and we appreciate all your help and look forward to seeing you next season also.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, gentlemen.
And go enjoy the race.
Will do.
All right, Brian Crump with us there, the owner, we'll call it, of Alliance, doing a great job there all those years of hard work, 47 to be exact here. So just wrapping up qualifying here. And it looks like Isaac Morris is going to take the pole here for this race, Gary. But what do you expect tonight in this race as we get ready to grid?
Honestly, I think that Isaac really needs to run and hide on this one. He has a lot of ground to make up in the championship. But we've seen Alex last week run and hide himself. So I think that these first four guys who we know are excellent road course racers are really going to put the pedal down and charge ahead to build up that buffer so that they can make their one stop without really giving up much track position. So I'm going to say it's going to be a little bit more of the same, but I think we're going to have more players involved this time around.
Well, good news. We're going to get the full 3.37 miles of a pace lap here, so we get a chance to go over the point standings on the screen right now. You're seeing them as of right now. Cohen Evans, a 20-point lead over Alex Van de Sant, or Alex Van de Sant there in second. I was looking over at the grid too. Matt Houston in third by 23. So Cohen, pretty much just keep all four wheels on the track tonight. And you're the champion.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Well, especially when you have a blue barrier that's within about 5 feet of this whole entire track. And trust me, I've hit it aplenty.
This Armco is pretty brutal. This is pretty brutal.
And taking a look on the screen, you see here it is the Alliance finale at the Glen for the LMCgear.com iRacing IndyCar Series. You see the track layout there. Turn 1, as you see, it's a 90-degree right-hander. They're going north, basically, into Turn 1, all the way up to through the S's, up to the bus stop there, which we'll talk about that. And you see the boot because, well, it looks like a boot, literally. And then you come out there on the short chute to the front stretch. We'll take a lap here in a little bit. But tonight going to be 40 laps around this track. Let's see, right off the bat, I'm not the mathematician, but that should be somewhere around the 123 miles or something like that with all the additional maths. So there you go. Looking at the race. Let's take a look at the starting grid really quickly. Isaac Morris, 126.1. He is on the pole for this race, looking to get UK&I a victory there. And Indiana's Alex Van de Sant looking for the three-peat to wrap up the season. He will start second. Cohen Evans, he'll start inside of row number 2 alongside Craig Forsyth. Matt Houston, second Indiana driver in the top 5. He'll start 5th alongside Matthew Casey. I think it's a second straight race. Both Matts have started in the same row. Daniel MacDonald will start there inside of row number 8 alongside with Julian Altena. Good to see him back in the race. Thomas Gold, Jim Herrick in the top 10 there. Marion McDaniels, Colby Wells, they'll start there in the 11th position. Row number 7, Nick Weatherby, the New York driver. Brad Haldane there in the 14th position. Joe Fierro and Dan Morera, he'll start there in 16th, and Sean Stevens going to round out the grid there in 17th. We'll be giving away the second Sean Stevens Award tonight, so Sean will not be the only winner of his award, or will he tonight? We'll have to see, but Chris, the admin, and, of course, Gary. Well, Gary's with me, so there you go. That is your starting lineup for tonight's 40-lapper, or 35-lapper. I stand corrected. I thought it was 40. Here at Watkins Glen International Raceway. So, Gary, they're coming up the S's here. What do you think is the trickiest part about this track? Not to throw you on the spot.
The most technical, I tell you, when I got in here, there were 2 areas that I had issues with. Believe it or not, going downhill into turn 1, you could chatter your tires, and you can just go right off into that runoff area really easily. So turn 1 is a lot more challenging than it looks. The other place that I felt there was a bit of a challenge were at the heel at turn 8 and at the end of where the straight that leads you back into the, we'll just call it the NASCAR short course in turn 9. They are deceptive turns that if you want to put the power down, and if you put the power down too early, it's going to be an effect much like Moss.
Oh, we got a wreck. Sorry to interrupt you. We got a wreck over here in the bus stop. The wrecking not even started.
Wow.
Thankfully.
Hopefully they, hopefully they don't have too much damage and can continue on. But that's one of the things that you don't really you take for granted when you watch this. But when you're in iRacing, I mean, the fact that these don't have brake lights. Okay, you don't know when the guy in front of you is gonna brake if he has to. You wouldn't be, if you were to get into one of these races and run into somebody in front of you during a pace lap. Believe me, you would not be the first person to ever do it. I've seen it happen before. Heck, it happened to my teammate at Indy 250 that we had.
Oh, wow.
So it happens. So just you got to pay attention. You got to be cognizant of what's going on around you.
Looking at the replay here, looks like the 39 of Brad Haldane got into the 78. I think that is. I'm not good with. I'm still learning car. You would think I would know by now. That purple car.
That car. Okay, so where are they?
Sean Stevens, I think. Yeah, it's Sean Stevens who it was.
Okay, so they're coming into the heel right now. This is one of the more technical spots that I was talking about. Okay, that's the bus shop on the stream. I don't know sometimes where to look sometimes, but going back to,
can be confusing real quickly.
We have all these monitors going, but when they get up to speed, we'll actually talk about these areas. But I love the S's are fun. The S's are so much fun for even for a Noble driver. The outer loop kind of that carousel type turn, that's great. We're getting ready to come to green here shortly. Even this last 10-11 combination coming down to the main stretch to the start finish line, this is a lot of fun. You can take this extremely fast. So I'm going to turn it over to you for the start of the race.
Yes, the Alliance finale at the Glen, 35 laps. Isaac Morris, Alex Van der Sande going to lead them to the green downhill to turn number 1. Who is going to win the championship? Who's going to get the momentum for the final race down the turn 1? It is Isaac Morris easily. And you see Van der Sande using that access. Thankfully, there's no kitty litter there anymore like there used to be back in the day. But up the S is wide open here down towards the bus stop.
And NASCAR kind of made that runoff area a necessity, and I think they kind of cheat because they all use it in every bit of it. Here we're coming down to the bus stop chicane for the first time. Watch how fast they take this thing. Look, watch this. Cut over these little rumble strips. Boom, right into the outer loop. Now we're into the carousel, and this little sweeper here is going to attach us to what is called the chute. This is the chute right here. The chute brings you actually into the portion of the toe. We're taking this turn here. This is a nice little turn. This is also a little deceiving. You can take it at high speed. This is the actual toe turn. This is probably the sharpest, one of the sharpest corners on the course. So they come around here, and now they're going to the bottom of the foot. There's no arc here. And it comes to the heel. The heel is where they're going to do some heavy braking. Like I said, it can be deceiving. Let's see if everyone gets through here clean.
Yeah, you don't want to scrape the heel.
Right after they're coming up after the heel, they're going to the 9. 9 rejoins the NASCAR course, and then it's power down. Power down. You can take this pretty much flat-footed right here. Maybe a little bit of a breather, and you're back on the power. And this is just wide open, super smooth, and you can take it incredibly fast. And here we are. We're already done with our first lap.
Just like that, lap 1 in the books. Isaac Morris leads it. Now, you mentioned earlier, when we get to that section, I'll really talk about it here. This is actually one of the rare tracks on road courses I have a lot of experience at because, I am, a stock car driver, we'll say for now. That corner is very light. I'm working on it, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But basically, in that corner, you come out of the boot section back onto the NASCAR portion of the track down that little short chute. Your car gets very light. It's actually a blinding corner that, we're coming up on it here, so I'm trying to stall to get to it. But it's a blinding corner, but you're turning left, and it's almost an off-camber left hand to where your back end will get so light in that section. And these cars don't have traction control, so you got to be careful with it.
And it's a little uphill too, and then like we talked about last week with elevation changes, these cars tend to get light with elevation changes, and you're right there, kind of at a crest of a hill, and everything you said on
right
top
here
of all that can make you. Yeah, here we go. You see it's a little uphill, and we will undoubtedly see some people break loose here for sure.
Yeah, it's easy to do because again, you cannot see that rumble strip until you turn. That rumble strip to the left there, where you see that's actually a bridge that goes over a part of the track that comes to the infield.
Yeah, that's called experience. You just kind of got to know it's there by making continuous laps, and then you build the muscle.
Lap 2 in the books. Isaac Morris trying to pull it, Dixon. Run away with this thing. You mentioned Scott Dixon. We got one car coming to pit road. That is Haldane, Brad Haldane, who had the damage from the wreck on the pace lap. Unfortunate deal there. Kind of, let's see, where have I seen a wreck on the pace lap? Well, you got the US 596, and then, the Gateway race this past weekend.
Well, and then there was the 92 Indy 500.
Oh, yeah, that one too.
I think Roberto Guerrero wants to forget that one. And then the less remembered, the 86th Indy 500, where Tom Sneva pulled the trick himself in almost the identical same spot. See,
if the pros can do it, we can do it too. But just look at it like that. So.
Well, speaking of Scotty D, he does own the overall track record. It's a 122 2017. As you see, our guys are qualifying at 126. There's a lot more speed out there for the pros, but 4 seconds off for recreational drivers, that's pretty good, I think. Not too bad.
No, not bad at all, and not to mention that was in the DW12, I believe, also.
Yeah, that would have been in the older car.
Right.
The older car is a lot more downforce. I think it has about the same amount of power. The newer car, they've dialed out the downforce, kind of put the driver back into a little bit more control. And that's a big difference between those two particular cars. And
also at that time, the track was just repaved. Let's throw that in there too, which put a lot of grip in this track. because the track was repaved about 2016 or 17, I believe. It was time I lived in New York, so I've been here 3 years. So yeah, it's about 2016, I think.
That wouldn't be the first time a track has actually paved itself to get a good number up on the board. 96 Indianapolis paved the track, and of course that was a huge number, and those numbers are still standing today. So there is an advantage to actually putting down some fresh asphalt.
Well, we remember 96 for a fast lap and some bad memories too, but we won't get into that.
Nope.
Got some great racing all over the place here. I'm actually focused on this battle right here. 6th, 7th, 8th, and no, one car scraping the wall, got off in the grass there. That's Matthew Casey.
Off there, yep.
That's another tricky section. That left-hander, you're coming off of what is the NASCAR carousel, is that right-handed corner. You're going downhill, and it's a left-handed downhill not dogleg. It's actually a corner that is very tricky.
Well, on top of that, the tarmac actually changes because
it goes
from a more, here we go, a little loose here, coming out of the turn 9. But the tarmac there is not as used as often as which would be the piece of road that connects from the outer loop straight to what is labeled turn 10. I forget if it's turn 6 or something like that. So they're going to hit that different piece of tarmac, and it's going to have different adhesion to it. And there's also a small bump when you do hit that, and that can sometimes disrupt you.
You saw Thomas Gold go by Dan Marrero for the 12th position. Thomas was on the podium last week, so Thomas starting from the back and see if he can work his way up there. He's been steady Eddie on the series. At least that's what I've seen in these first few races. And here's another battle on the track. This is for the 5th position. Daniel McDonald inside of Matt Houston takes the 5th spot away, and at 73, and a spinner right behind him.
We got to spin the bus stop. There
that's
we go.
31 going on Danny Sullivan through the bus stop. 360 and continue on. We'll get a replay of that here in a second, but that probably scared the underbritches off of Matthew Casey. That's underwear in English.
Well, you know.
Oh, and another wreck. Right now, the 31's wrecked again. This time coming out of the whatever section of the boot that is. I think that's the heel. But he is hit hard. The 31, Julian Altena, not going to be happy with that. We're going to get to see it all right here. He's on the replay. He's coming down the long straightaway here into the bus stop. He hits that rumble strip, and it seems to upset his car. Does a simple 360, continues on here, and Matthew Casey's like, oh boy. So the race versus car goes back here through the carousel that I was just talking about here, out into the left-hander here, and let's see. Oh, he caught that rumble strip. That rumble strip will upset the car. It's done that to me in a GT car, let alone an Indy car.
Well, it's the same thing we warned about last week at Mosport, where you hit that rumble strip, especially at Moss, and it will disrupt the car. Same thing here. Just you hit the rumble strips at the wrong time. You dip the wheel off into the grass at the wrong time, and sometimes you're along for the ride after that.
And Julian, unfortunately, going to be out of the race here. He's already joined us in chat. A little unhappy, understandable in this kind of circumstances here, but. Unfortunately, the way racing goes sometimes. How I
feel from his race earlier today. So
a little anger.
It is. It sure is. It sure is.
So Isaac got about a second lead over Alex Van de Sant. You got Cohen Evans back there in the 3rd position. Craig Forsyth in the 4th position. So should remind you, coming up here in 30 or in 29 laps, if I learned how to count, we'll be crowning a champion, and then also we'll unveil the schedule for next season. Boy. Yeah, right. And I saw some surprises on this schedule a little bit ago. I was like, wait, they're going where? So wait till you see that. But
have to pack up the virtual 747 and head over to virtual Europe, maybe. We'll find out. We'll find out.
Well, we'll maybe not just once either. Anywho.
Okay. Break out your virtual passports.
Right. Hey, Alex Van de Sant is making way in here on Isaac Morris. Down to half second here. We're about to have a battle for the lead.
Yeah. He is eating it up. He is eating it up big time. I don't know if Isaac has worn out his tires, or maybe he just made a small little mistake sometimes. That's all it takes. But he made up a good chunk of time in that last lap.
That last time by, matter of fact, Alex went purple sector on that lap, which means fastest lap. I know that. 126.94 on that lap. So everybody else in the 27s and 28s.
Let's also remind people, if this is your first time watching an IndyCar road race, they do have something called push to pass.
Yep.
It's a button on their steering wheel, among many buttons they have on their steering wheel. Adds a little extra horsepower for up to, I believe it's 10 seconds. So that'll help them run down their opponent, so you can use it offensively in that way, but you can also use it defensively. When you think you might be challenged, you hit the button and pull yourself away. But we got that. You can only use the button so many times during the race, kind of like a video game before you use up the special power. And I'm sure that Alex is probably hitting that button a couple times to close that gap.
On board, Cohen Evans. And looking to lock up that championship with all those wins he got earlier in the season, the consistency, the poles. And, as we are 7 laps.
We have a car. Oh, two at turn 9.
Fiero and Wells, it looks like. We'll cut to it here.
Just what we were talking about is coming through there, and the back end got around, and it collected a second driver.
Ooh, Colby with heavy damage here. We'll go back here and see. It looks like it started with Colby Wells going off track here in the Fiero, but we'll get the exact replay here as they come up. You mentioned through the toe. You don't want to stub your toe. If you've never stubbed your toe, something's wrong with you. And I mean that in a positive way, because everybody stubs their toe at one point. Then they come up here into the other end of the boot. Went brain dead on names. Oh, and there, yep, turn 9. He loses the back end. Really easy to do, as you mentioned. Oh, and he clobbers.
Yeah.
Look at the move by Herrick to miss that wreck.
Yeah. Sometimes you're the bug, and sometimes you're the windshield. And,
That's, yeah.
He made it through, and the next guy didn't.
Is that one of those things where maybe he's too fast into that corner and loses the back end and it spins it around?
Two things can happen there. Yes, you can do that. You can also brake late, and while you're turning in, your back end starts to get loose because the back end is faster than your front end, and you're trying to... physics is taking over at this point, and so you tend to swap ends. The other thing that can also happen, which happens to me more often than not when I was running some reconnaissance laps, is just putting that power down. Because you know, out of this turn, that you're putting the power down, and you're pretty much full throttle with maybe a small crack in turn 10 and 11. But you're pretty much to the floor all the way from 9 to 1 for the most part. You want to be on that power immediately.
We're on board with Jim here. We're going to watch him miss this wreck. There's the wreck. Up, look out. Another one. Up, we're good.
As many racers like to say, they'd rather be lucky than good any day.
And sometimes you get to be both.
Yeah.
And 9 laps.
For the most part,
Go ahead.
For the most part, Watkins Glen is pretty wide. That is actually one of the more narrower sections right there. Turn 9 joins the NASCAR part. That's pretty narrow there. For the most part, though, Watkins Glen is one of the more wider road courses there are, especially down from that front stretch. You can span out about 4 wide if you needed to.
Don't let that fool you with the Armco barriers there on the both sides of the track. So
those are like cheese graters. You want to stay off them.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, should mention this is the Alliance finale at the Glen, and the sponsor for the race is Alliance Group Technologies. You heard us talk to Brian Crump earlier. Look to Alliance, the source of the highest quality engineering and IT professionals for your business and qualified IT professionals. Let Alliance Group Technologies help you advance, forming technology partnerships for over 47 years. They are Alliance Group Technologies sponsors of this races. Tell you what, McDonald is not playing around tonight. He has come up to the back end of Craig Forsyth, and this is going to be a battle for the 4th position. Forsyth with the Pruitt fade. I know that term too.
Wow, yes, he does. So he had himself in a defensive position to have the inside of the bus stop. I
was going to say, we lost McDonald all of a sudden.
He went stealth mode on it.
I was going to say, EI, uh-oh.
But Craig went full defense there, and when I say full defense is he had the corner. Daniel was going to have to take the long way around.
Oh, Forsyth almost lost it. Stubbed his toe.
There we go. So you just stick around, and like last week, Forsyth took advantage of a mistake in front of him. Sometimes you're the bug, and sometimes you're the windshield. Once again, and you live by it, you die by it.
I feel like I'm the bug a lot more than the windshield on a road course. And when I mean a
Right
lot
now,
more,
it's definitely the bug.
a lot more. So earlier we were talking about this. You mentioned transitioning me into an IndyCar driver. So I've always enjoyed IndyCar games. I had the IndyCar, was it 03 and stuff that came out on PlayStation 3 where we ran like a lot of the ovals, and I've won a couple Indy 500s on there. I've won an Indy 500 on iRacing by not wrecking pretty much. But the craft of an iRacing or an IndyCar on iRacing is not easy. So I was like, you know what? I need to go start back at the beginning where everybody else does. So last night I bought a USF 2000 car. I don't know what the proper name is for it. I'm guessing it's an Indy Light. And went and ran Milwaukee last night. Started third, finished fifth out of 10 cars, and had less than an hour of experience in that car. So I'm working on that Indy car professionalism.
That's the U.S. Formula Ford, what used to be known as the Formula Ford.
Oh.
Them race. It used to be the before the Indy Racing League became IndyCar again. They were kind of the support series that kind of traveled with the Indy Racing League, and I saw them race at Charlotte, where they raced on most of the oval, and then they had a really weird chicane right about at the second dog leg when you're right after the start-finish line. But
right.
One of the more notable drivers at the time is forget which fight. It's not. He was the cyclist that won the Tour de France, but it wasn't.
Not Lance Armstrong.
LeMond, Greg LeMond.
Oh, Greg LeMond. Okay, yeah.
I think he was one of the drivers.
So not Lance Armstrong.
No. Lance Armstrong probably would have had a hidden turbo button somewhere, but
wow.
That, it's even racers of another type need to learn someplace, and U.S. Formula Ford or USF 2000 series on iRacing is the place to do it.
Nick Weatherby is starting to become the I'm the first one to pit every time guy. And here he is on pit road. You remember Indianapolis? He was the first one on pit road, it seemed like, all race long. And here he comes down pit road. Is this scheduled lap 12 on a tank of fuel in these Indy cars? That might seem about right here, but 4 tires and fuel. Do you know? I didn't get exact words on the strategy here, and we could take a look. But what do you know about it, Gary?
They're going to pit a lot sooner than what you think because they are on the power a lot at this particular track. So I would expect that most of these drivers are probably looking at their first stop coming up here right here. I would imagine that they're probably light on fuel and probably got these tires pretty well worn out from some of these high speed through the S's and through the outer loop. I think it's only going to be a one-stop race maybe, unless there's a full course caution, which I think is going to be extremely doubtful. So we'll see how strategy pans out for a lot of these drivers. Other drivers might go...
Oh, Thomas Gold has gone off track somewhere.
Yeah.
Looks like he's okay. I just got the notification over here. I got my replay stuff up to date now and going right here, but let's go see what happened to Thomas Gold. Looks like he's in that boot section too. It actually notifies me when someone wrecks now. Comes up here, he came out of the toe section back towards the heel. And he comes up out of the heel, okay, and let me guess. Here comes that turn 9 section you mentioned. Left-handed, and around comes the back end. Gently noses the wing into the car. Should be okay. Won't have to replace it. I don't even see any damage on that wing, to be honest with you. But just a simple self-spin, and I'm sure Thomas is cussing out turn 9 right now.
I'm sure there's a lot of drivers that will be cussing out turn 9 before this race is over. The great thing about this is I am not a road course racer by any means. I'm more of an oval racer. That's exactly what I am, an oval racer. It's really good to see everyone else having problems with turn 9 when I had problems with turn 9. It makes me think I was on to something.
While that was going on, we had a battle. Craig Forsyth got back past Daniel McDonald for 4th.
Another coming out of turn 9.
Oh, another turn 9 victim?
Yeah, it just spun around. I don't have a car number.
Yeah, this one's not telling me anything. Of course, I give it praise and it fails me. Good job. It happens. That's live TV for you. But keep an eye on this battle for fourth. Forsyth starting to pull away here, and that battle for the lead sticks at about a half second. Van de Sant and Morris. Cohen Evans about 5 seconds back into third position. So basically, lap 18, if you get to that, you're going to make it on one stop, as you mentioned, and they're only 4 laps away from the halfway point in this race.
Well, there's a couple things that they could do to conserve. Again, this is for the non-IndyCar person that might be watching the broadcast. You don't get on the power as much. Maybe you come off the power earlier than normal. Also, there's a dial, another buttons on the steering wheel that you can change the fuel mapping, which basically just changes how powerful the engine is and how much fuel it uses. And they can dial that down to a certain number to help conserve. So there's any number of things they're doing to conserve. And also, the most simple thing is just stay in the draft of the car in front of you.
Seems pretty simple. And you can also... Oh, and Matthew Casey has had issues. Same section, turn 9, bites somebody again. As Matt Houston is on pit road right in front of Matthew here. Let's see what happens. I think we're going to have a new drinking game. And that's going to be the word turn 9 and wrecked.
Swap ins, turn 9, take drink.
Appreciate all the viewers here this evening watching. 18 so far, not a bad number. Always appreciative of those. As we see, Matthew Casey comes into turn 9, gets high there in the section and back in, swaps around, and he keeps it off the barrier and goes on. So no harm, no foul there for the 15 car. But once again, somebody getting too high. Wow, this is interesting.
And we have a car off.
It's Matt Houston, I think.
Yeah, at this point in time in their run, just think about it. I mean, think about physics here. They don't have a lot. For every gallon of ethanol they have, I think it's like 9 pounds. I think it's how it's weighed, maybe a little bit less.
Oh, you know what? So looking at the replay here, not to cut you off, Matt Houston goosed it coming off of pit road. And the more important fact here, Gary Gozzo has passed Chris Lewis for 18th according to my telemetry. I want to know how that works.
You know, I did hire a ringer. Pull to the turn 1 lap and park it. So we'll get the virtual prize money and the virtual points for it.
Well, I see somebody with no nose here as we watch Cohen Evans on pit road, also Forsyth in. Is that Weatherby without a nose, I wonder? Did he wreck also?
I've seen that so many times. You just get on the power, you want to go, and you just bring it around. That's cold. That right there is cold tires. What you're seeing in turn 9 a lot right now, like I said, it's physics where you have less weight on the back and you still have all this power and extremely warm and worn tires. That's right there a recipe for breaking loose. But coming off of pit road, wouldn't be the first time. I mean, I'm sure that we've all done it, swapped ins because of cold tires. You just got to be careful. Oh, and we do have a wreck going. Oh, crap. Well, we are between 9 and 10. One of the leaders just spun out.
Oh, that's not good. Let's cut to it here. I was going to show the replay of Weatherby, but now something else has happened.
Oh, we have another one that went around at 9.
People are having issues everywhere. Brad Haldane looks like it was Alex Van de Sant who crashed.
Yeah. And again, I'm sure he just wanted to make up some time.
The one
power.
Can you tell I'm a one-man show? Well, I got 2 with you tonight, but I'm trying to run cameras and catch up with Rex. Stop wrecking. In all fairness, I can't control it. Let's see what happens to the Samsung car first. We'll watch him, and then we'll see what happened to Brad Haldane. And I think we're going to be doing some... Oh! He did it in the heel. Lost the back end. Noses it into the wall. He's okay, it looks like. Van de Sant, and then I think I hear Haldane spinning right in front of him here. Yeah, there's Haldane. I heard his back end. Now, there's a turn 9 accident, so grab your soda. I'm not going to say alcoholic beverage. Let's hope it's soda. Drink responsibly, people. But, hey, what? The heel of the boot and the I'm literally looking at my foot right now.
Turn 9, so ankle.
Turn 9, the ankle
Ankle, yeah.
is causing issues.
I told you right at the beginning when we started talking about the track, it's 8 and 9 is probably where the most problems are going to be. We haven't seen a lot of those problems in 1 where the wheels start chattering and you drive way off into the overrun there. But 8 and 9, all of my notes when I was taking laps, like, this is going to be a fun place to watch. We should probably stick a static camera there.
Jim Herrick on pit road, and he's got a destroyed car. What in the world? Where did Herrick crash at? He's coming out of turn 9 in this one, so he's okay here. We are having issues everywhere on the track, these poor guys. Jim was running in the 10th position at the time, comes out of the final corner down the front straightaway. He's got, I'm trying to see who that is behind him. That's Thomas, or that's Matt Casey, I think. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Matt Houston. And, oh, no! Oh, vicious accident. It looks like Hal Dane comes off of pit road, I think. Or is that Thomas Gold? And just wipes out Herrick with the cold tires. That's we're going to put that one on a list of things I've never seen before.
Tell you, it happens. It happens. We got Isaac now has a 5-second lead over Cohen Evans. And I don't think Isaac has stopped yet.
He has not.
I don't know if he does pretty good at saving fuel.
Gary, your stomach's okay, right? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I'm perfectly good.
Just making sure, because we're on board with Jim.
Oh, no. Oh, no. For a second there, I thought you were going to talk about the specialty food plate that you were going to tell me.
Oh, the garbage plate. I forgot all about it.
Yeah,
Thank you for reminding me. Wow, the camera did not survive the wreck, unfortunately. Jim is okay, I think. Probably not happy.
So Isaac does a pretty good job at conserving fuel. I believe that's what he did for Road American, where he stretched it. Now that he has a 5-second lead, and it looks a hell of a lot bigger than that right now.
Yes.
With the way that Cohen is so far back. But that's how fast they are here. 5 seconds is a long way back. They're extremely fast. He might be. I don't really hear him doing anything out of the normal. He just might be pushing it, doing his normal thing.
Sherry Herrick on the chat. That wasn't nice.
I guess she would know. I mean, she would probably ride with Jim the most.
No, knowing Sherry, she's probably, that poor lady's probably in the screen. Oh my God, Jim, are you okay in the house? But no, at this point, is there a, I mean, other than having, I guess, fresher tires going to the finish, is there a point in not pitting now since you're past halfway?
I don't see how he can go without a pit stop, to be honest with you. He's going to have to stop at some point. That's for sure. It just when. And see, his back end got loose right there in 9. I just saw him on my particular. I'm watching the leader right now, and his back end got loose right in 9. So he might be thinking about making a stop real soon. Oh, and he's starting to.
Yeah, easy on the curbs.
Yeah, he was starting to chatter a little bit there, and he was saying, he was going high, so he's going to go for another lap.
That'll complete lap number 19. And, of course, you have the Scott Dixon theory, too, which, you know, he's been very good at. Is for those Jim Herrick fans, he is back on track. So Jim is okay. Unless he put a stunt devil in there. He could have put a stunt devil in there. But stunt double, not devil.
It's Tommy Chitwood.
So, I was going to say, Scott Dixon's really notorious, and I shouldn't say notorious. Oh, look out to save it there, guy.
Spin. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
The bus stop.
Yeah, lazy spin there.
Right next to the leader, too.
That was Joe Fiera who did that.
Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
But I was going to say, I'm trying to say, basically, it's going down the straightaway, and as Isaac puts 2 wheels off there, going down the straightaway, and you're letting off the gas early before you get to the brake. That's
the, let's say, the more manual way of doing things, instead of just dialing down the horsepower or maybe getting behind a car and drafting. Is just, hey, how do you use less gas, Chris? Have your foot on the gas less.
Yeah.
So that will do it.
But here's the, and I kept this out on purpose when I brought that up. The mind-boggling part is he usually runs faster doing it. Figure that out, theory-wise.
Easy in, easy out. It's well, you could probably equate to this with kind of how Kyle Petty drove over, and how he was always good there. And he always said easy in, and you're fast out, and that way you have control. You're hitting your marks, and then you can, without your car's not disrupted. Your car's stable. You have more control over the stability of your car when you're easy in. Then you can power out much more effectively. I know Kyle Petty was big at that at Dover, and I also know that Rossi does a pretty good job in IndyCar racing about that too. Of course, that's how he won the Indy 500. But Dix is the master. He's going to go down in history as one of the top 3 best IndyCar drivers.
And you mentioned Kyle. His father, Richard, obviously being one of the best of all time, was real good at that. Now, here's the only way I'm going to counter that. Being the stock car guy, I'm going to play the advocate here. When you go easy in, you're back on the throttle, and you're almost full throttle driving hard off the corner. Where, these Indy cars, you're easy in, easy off, like you said. But yet somehow you're going faster. Somebody's spinning up here in turn 9. I heard the screeching of the tires. No, maybe not. Scares me. But
it's a game of balance, and it's almost a Russian roulette with your foot. How far down do you really want to go? And do you have that muscle memory that you take it right to that point, but you don't cross that point? And IndyCar drivers, they don't just have regular pedals. They actually kind of have a toe box that their toes rest in for their accelerator, so they can actually rotate their ankle up, bring their toes up, and bring it out of the acceleration that way, and then also work the brake with the other foot. And they don't have clutches anymore. These also. He could probably balance that. It's like a little fulcrum in his head and the muscle memory that you go too far to one side, bad things happen. You stay right, things perfect, and then you're a genius IndyCar driver like Dixon.
Is it bad that I pictured you using hand signals talking about that?
I am absolutely using my hands.
I'm totally picturing you hand signaling right now to me as you're talking about that. And we can't see each other, by the way.
Totally using my hands.
That's awesome.
When I said picture it on a fulcrum, a little triangle symbol, I was like,
Want to go back, battle for 8th here as we wait for Isaac to pit. We got a good fight here. Dan Morera, the Spanish driver. Colby Wells in the 45, who had his issues early. This is actually a battle for 8th. Both cars still on the lead lap, according to my telemetry here. So this is actually a good fight as they enter the DRS. Ignore that. It's Formula 1 zone. That's what the sign said there.
Oh, well, if anyone
that was tight.
wants to know what that is, that's the drag DRS
reduction system.
Basically a button they push on their rear wheel end that basically drops a flap in the rear wing that allows air through and allows less drag. And it's just one of the many inventions that Formula One's done to try to...
It's their version of push to pass.
It doesn't really do its thing. But though my favorite invention, and I believe they're actually going to possibly use this with the next NASCAR, is I was always a big fan of KERS. I thought KERS was a good thing to do. And I don't know why IndyCar hasn't done it. I'm guessing just to keep down costs. But KERS is a kinetic energy recovery system. And so what that was is you had a little electric motor that would add horsepower to the engine. But in order for that motor to recharge itself, it used the kinetic friction energy of braking in order to charge itself back up. So basically, it was its own battery source.
I know a guy who was really good at Indy cars. I haven't talked to him in years on here. And I always remember he had a term anytime I brought up the word KERS, and I cannot say it in public.
Well, depending on what
there's an adjective in front of the word KERS.
Well, depending on what side of the Mississippi it is, you could be talking about the beer. So
That's funny. Hey, should mention real quickly, Indiana Humane Services, of course, they've been a sponsor throughout the series. We appreciate them being on board as they have been throughout. There's Indiana Humane Services. Of course, they fund thousands of spay and neuter surgeries every year to animals in need, with the goal of making Indiana a zero-kill state. They partner with over 300 animal shelters and rescue across the state, providing them with free spay or neuter services for animals in their care. These surgeries address the root cause of shelter overpopulation and help prevent the euthanasia of adoptable cats and dogs. Indiana Humane Services, funded through the pet-friendly license plate and generous donations, every penny going to life-saving surgeries. Now, if you're not in Indiana, make sure you see if your state has a pet-friendly plate, and you can save lives every time you drive. I definitely want to thank them. I actually have ran a paint scheme similar to what the guys ran in the Indy 500 and other races in my truck series race the last couple of weeks, and I've done pretty well for them. I'll have to show some photos if I can in Discord, but
Yeah, do that.
definitely been supporting those guys. Probably going to run it a few more times and go from there. So definitely a great non-for-profit there, Indiana Humane Services. So with that said, we're now 25 laps, and Isaac Morris is still not pitted.
Adopt a black cat.
Yeah, yes.
One more time.
That's
We are now 25 in, and he is not pitted. He is bouncing off these rumble strips, though. He is on that.
Well, you know what? Actually, you know what? I'm about to go back and review this because according to telemetry, he pitted earlier in this race, and I must have missed it.
Been looking at something else.
I mean, I could be wrong by this, but according to telemetry here, I know we've been talking and seeing action everywhere, and of course with the wrecking issues we had, I might have missed Isaac Morris on pit road because he's only 5 seconds. You know what? He had to have pitted because Cohen Evans is pitted, and he's only 5 seconds back.
That would explain why he's not slowing down.
There we go. So we must have missed Isaac Morris. All right, I'm hiring me a spotter from now on. According to telemetry here, he pitted back, if I'm seeing this right, lap 16.
Okay, so maybe he started light and decided to go for that quick first early pit stop, which is a good strategy if you can definitely pull yourself away.
Yeah, according to the time, it was a 9.93 second stop, so obviously he did fill up the tank, got 4 fuel goods, and I got back out there. It's not the fastest time. The fastest time on pit road, well, I'm not going to be able to accurately tell you because Matt Houston's had a 4.6 second stop. My guess is that was just to get a new car.
Or a top off, I don't know, but yeah. It could be any number of things, really. Cohen is still there. He's within looking distance. It's not within shouting distance.
But is Cohen really pushing it?
3/4 seconds back. We'll have to take a look at his in-car and see how he's doing there. I think Isaac is just being Mr. Smooth right now. And unless he makes a mistake, I don't want to say this is over, but man, it's looking pretty bleak for the rest of the field. But don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
Nope, that's why we run this race.
Turn.
Sorry if it's getting glitchy here for a second, guys. I'm actually looking at something for you guys to see. Yeah. Give me 1 second. You're working on something. All right, should straighten itself back out. Yeah, Jim is running P14. He is healthy. Oh, Matthew Casey's had some issues apparently. And Alex Cohen Evans is coming to pit road, but we also had some issues with Matthew Casey. Let's see what happened to him. It didn't cut to Matt. It's actually on Jim. Let's see what happens to Matt. And Cohen in and out of his pits at 8.7 seconds, it looks like. You're still here, right? Yeah, it's stream got a little lag. Oh, right here, Matt goes around.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, no, the stream got a little laggy there, and it happened kind of purposely, actually, because I was trying to do something here as the 15 comes to pit road here. So it looks like. Go ahead.
I want to point out I'm watching the leader still right now with Isaac, and he just passed. I need to find out who the driver is because I want to give him props. He's in the Alexander Rossi livery.
That is that's the 81 of Nick Weatherby.
Weatherby was a complete gentleman, moved over, let the leaders go. I can't tell you, one of the lost arts that I've found since getting into iRacing is racing etiquette. Some people don't know it exists. Some people refuse to follow it. Right there is a perfect gentleman, and I'm sure at some point down the road when Nick's in the lead and Isaac's having a long day, that he'll return that favor.
So as we're 28 laps in, real quickly, I promised this to you guys, and it's going to pop up on the screen here because I'm loading the photo as we do it. But you've asked, and you brought it up to me a second ago, Gary, if I find it. Let me make sure I get the caption for it here because I'm not seeing it all of a sudden. Let me not tease you guys with it. Hang on. Well, anyways, I had a photo of the garbage plate for you. But it's failing me. Stand by. I'm working on it. But we're 28 laps in, and Morris still leading. He's at 13 seconds over Van de Sande. It might get laggy again here, I warn you. That would explain why.
I thought the Cylons were attacking for a minute.
So what's happening basically is I'll just show it after the race. I'll show the garbage plate after the race. But no, what's happening is when I get on the internet and I go searching for something, that's when it gets laggy. So that's basically what I was trying to do is download the photo for you guys of the garbage plate, the famous upstate New York thing that I will honestly say I've never tried and will never try as Alex Van de Sande comes to pit road because half the stuff on there I don't like.
It's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive.
There's a restaurant up there in Rochester, New York. It's called Nick Tahoe's, and that is the famous place for the garbage plate. And, of course, being up in Rochester, you're only an hour from Buffalo. So, yes, Buffalo wings are pretty popular. As Van de Sande overshoots his pit stall just a little bit.
Oh. That's going to cost a little time. And again, everyone does it.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone does that, too. A lot of the mistakes that you're seeing the guys making here, there's nothing unique to what they're doing. These are the mistakes that a lot of people make. So it just shows that these guys, while being extremely good at what they're doing, they're also human. So give them a break. But for the most part, I think you live and learn, and you do better the next time. So I think a lot of times when we come back again to Watkins Glen, I think a lot of you guys that have the R next to their name, or maybe had a poor showing this time, will probably have a better showing next time because they know a lot of the gotchas, and the leader is in the pits.
Isaac Morris coming down pit road, the man who's been really disappointed the last 2 weeks, unfortunately being involved in accidents that have drug him out of the championship run. Real quickly, Julian, no, Windows 10. It's just a weird story. It takes a lot to explain why this happens. But, yeah, Morris unfortunately had 2 bad runs, and that took him out of the championship run. And I should mention purple sector lap, not a sector, but the lap, Cohen Evans, 126.6.
We just had a wreck in the in 9 again, and I think it might have been Van de Sande. I don't know. We'll have to take a look again. It's one of the red cars.
According to it is Van de Sande.
Yep, right in 9, right, the same spot that we've been talking about all day.
Oh boy. We're watching on replay here as he comes through the boot section down to the heel.
And Isaac's coming up.
Oh, wow, he lost it. Yeah, lost the back end and head first into the wall. Wow.
Yeah, and Isaac's coming up to that point right here in another turn or so. He's got tires should be mostly up at temperature, but let's see him get through here with somewhat cold tires and a full tank of gas, or a lot of gas. He'd only needed enough to finish. Let's put it that way. So it's definitely not a full tank.
Yeah, Alex will use that reset and get that car fixed, unfortunately. And wait, no. Did Cohen Evans have an issue on track? He's coming through the carousel. I mean, unless my telemetry stuff is fooling with me, which is entirely possible. He goes off track there at the boot, comes up on the toe, and loses the back end, spins it out. Hopefully nobody hits him here, but the points leader spun over here in the boot. And he's all good to go. Wow, that's got to be scary.
Yeah, he's racing to the fin right now. That's kind of what, and then he's kind of hoping the math works in his favor. I kind of wish we had the points as they are type graphic. I know you can only do so much with the API from iRacing, but be curious to see how close the championship is right now. I will say, yeah, Isaac has had a rough last 2 weeks, and I'm going to say he probably spent the first half of this race racing with a lot of anger. I think he's probably a little bit more calmed down right now. But Daniel McDonald now has snuck his way up to second place, and he's within 10 seconds of Isaac. So he's there. Will he have enough time, and can he get the make up the ground?
Daniel's been one of the two consistent drivers, and here it is, UK and I right now running first and second in this race. But Daniel doing a fantastic job here as we ride on board to 73 here. You can just listen to the motor and how out of the throttle he is on these tires.
We should probably get one of the IndyCars while they're coming through that turn 9 and see if you can hear how they kind of feather it and motor it through turn 9, how it's not an instant application of power.
Right.
It's kind of a boom, 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 and then you're bringing it all into you're not hitting it all at once.
Well, let's ride on board here. We got 3 laps to go. We're going to ride on board with Daniel. Up here through the S's. Kind of blips the throttle a little bit through the turn 4 section, which is interesting. That was odd. He got out of the gas, put push to pass on, and then lets another car go by. He has slowed up a lot all of a sudden here on the track. He lets Cohen Evans go by for second. Something isn't right here.
He might be doing a fuel mileage thing.
Well, if you were fuel mileage, you'd be in taller gears. He just went to first gear through the boot. He's got push to pass back on. Down the straightaway here. Down into the heel. And here, we'll listen real quickly. First gear up to second gear in turn 9. Just roll the throttle. And and all of a sudden just guns it again here. If he finishes on the podium here, we'll have to see what's going on with this. I wonder if it is a fuel thing, but there's a lap around Watkins Glen in a nonchalant way. He's not going into high gears at all, really. He's almost staying from second to fourth.
Yeah, I can't explain that one.
Let's say, somebody get Donald Davidson on the phone.
Well,
see what he knows.
I'll tell you what. I tell you what. He might be in a lower fuel mapping, and he doesn't need to go. He only needs to go up to a certain gear in a lower fuel mapping because it changes the revs. He might be in a low. I'm willing to bet that's what.
And that saves fuel by doing that.
Yeah, so he's probably in a fuel map. The way he's getting past. Fuel map 1 is the most rich. Fuel map 8 is actually absolutely no turbo whatsoever. You're just kind of running on engine power. And then the 7 is with a little bit of turbo. He might be in a 6 or 7. The way he's getting blown off the road. That's it. Unless there's something terribly wrong. We have a spin at turn 10.
I believe it's Dan Marrera. Yep.
And we have someone in the kitty litter at turn 8.
Issues everywhere. I see Dan Morera. It's saying Isaac Morris crashed. Am I seeing that right? He's still in the lead here. Nah, he's still leading. I don't think, he might have went off track or something. It's playing games with me again. Again, I'm still learning the technology of the system here. I've been doing it for about a month now, and I've learned a lot from it, and I'm able to run a lot of things from it. Heck, I even use it for my onboards now for my racing, but there's still some things I'm learning. So forgive me for that. But
well, I mean, let the folks at home also know that road courses don't know where to look sometimes, unlike an oval where you can, from a single seat, pretty much see the entire track. You know, when ESPN and NBC Sports and ABC go to these tracks, I mean, they'll have commentators and each one of the turns along the straightaways so they can call the action as they go completely around the track. Sometimes something's going to happen when we're doing the iRacing thing and we just don't know about it because our attention's focused elsewhere. But if you were watching the pros would yell it out, and then the director would cut right to it. I think we're doing pretty darn good as it is.
I think so, and radio still does it to this day. So, as we come up here on the white flag, this is the Alliance finale at the Glen. I do want to get this in real quickly. Check out Alliance Group Technologies, the source to the highest quality engineering and IT professionals for your business. They also have IT professionals as part of it. Now, let Alliance Group Technologies help you advance, forming technology partnerships of over 47 years. They are Alliance Group Technologies, and we are on the white flag final lap of the season. Isaac Morris on his way to another win, which would be his, if I do the math real quickly, 5th of the season, but it will not be enough, as Cohen Evans is on his way to the championship.
Yeah, he's moved up to second place.
And Forsyth going to get a third straight podium, or a second straight podium potentially here. Down through the boot one more time here as he comes up on a teammate right there in front of him.
Teammate's probably going to just pull over and let him go.
He's probably not worried about him. He's probably going to ride right there behind him.
Once he gets within his gearbox range there.
Coming out of the boot for the final time into the short chute.
Feathering it. There he goes, right to the rumble strips.
Yep.
In the turn 10.
Perfectly done. Isaac Morris, as the lap car lets him go by. Unfortunately, had some bad luck the last 2 races, but it's going to cap off the season with another win in the Alliance finale at the Glen. Isaac Morris, your winner. But let's go back as he runs the fastest lap of the race on that lap, oh, by the way. Cohen Evans into the final 2 corners.
The ultimate take that.
Yes. And oh, by the way, he's got the sponsor of the series on the car. The LMCgear.com car of Cohen Evans is your Season 2 champion of the LMCgear.com iRacing IndyCar Series. Mr. Consistency, we'll call him.
Consistency is tough in iRacing, and for him to be able to win a championship and be that consistent just proves his talent that he has in doing iRacing.
And Cohen Evans.
To him, and congratulations to the winners.
Yeah, congrats to them. And Cohen might have ran the slowest lap of the race on that lap, 1:36.5.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Now, I mean, I could probably run a 1:36 around here in a Mazda. Kidding. I meant that actually in like an F1 car, something faster. But I blew the joke, so I'm leaving that alone.
Isaac's doing his Alex Zanardi Memorial Donuts over there in turn 1, so he's definitely celebrating.
Yeah, we'll talk to the winner. We'll talk to the champion. And we'll talk to Mr. Forsyth. Craig finishing in the top 3. And still waiting on everybody to cross the line here. Waiting on Matt Houston as Matt all of a sudden loses 6th position to Colby Wells here. You saw that on the screen. He might have ran out of gas. But Colby gets by Matt for 7th right at the line there. So very interesting. So they'll all go around and do the celebratory laps here as you see Isaac going through the boot. Let's see. Will he cut donuts over in turn 9? I would, just for the spite.
Just might as well. Actually, when I won my race yesterday, I did not do any burnouts or any donuts, and they said that was poor form, and I'm like, it's like I remember Barry Sanders. One of the things he always used to say why he never celebrated touchdowns: act like you've been there before. That's all I did is I pulled in the victory lane and act like I've been there before.
This is why I don't bet money, and I didn't. Isaac did not cut donuts. Let's take a look at the final results of the race. Isaac Morris wins at 25-second win over Cohen Evans. Let's see, how many times is that a tie? I have to look that one up. How many times he finished 1-2 this year? Craig Forsyth finished third. Alex Van de Sant fourth. Daniel McDonald, top 5 finish for him. Might have to sneak an interview with him to see what he was doing with that strategy. Colby Wells finishing 6th. Matt Houston 7th. Thomas Gold finishing 8th.
He's laying down major donuts at the start.
Now that's good form. That right there is called put your front brake all the way back and let the rear tires rip. But Dan Marrero finishes 9th, Joe Fierro 10th, Nick Weatherby, Jim Herrick, Brad Haldane. All these cars had issues. Matthew Casey, Sean Stevens, Julian Altena, and Marion McDaniel 17th. And unfortunately, Greg, you lost 18th, Chris. He passed you according to telemetry.
Next year. Next year.
Speaking of next season, we'll be releasing the schedule here coming up, so stay on the stream because we're going to release the schedule here for you, and we're going to talk a little bit about the broadcast next season because there are going to be some big changes. I say big changes. They're not so big, but some changes happening on the stream also that I think are going to help out the viewers watching tonight, so definitely looking forward to that. But right now, let me get in here. I'm going to go get our 3rd place finisher first because let's see. Well, let me ask this question, Gary. I'm going to throw you on the spot. You want to interview Craig?
Yeah, let's get him on in here.
All right, let's do it. So let's get Craig in here. I'm going to let Gary run this one. No fear. Gary's never done an interview before. I'm going to let the man go to work here for a second. But, Gary, you get Craig.
Craig, I get interview duties this time, so we did see you have a small moment on the track, so you had a little bit more excitement than you did at Mosport. Tell me about your race.
I don't know what you're talking about. I drove far. Losing control on corners.
How was turn 9? How did that treat you? I mean, that took almost everybody for a spin today, literally.
I have to admit I don't like the boot. It's not what I mean. I'm far more comfortable in the classic configuration, but the boot is fun. It's the offloading of the car when you downforce at the same time that you're trying to brake and then get back on the gas. You have to find the perfect amount of throttle to apply, and yeah.
And we were saying it's like your foot's on a fulcrum almost, and you pass a certain point, your car is going to spin. If you don't pass a certain point, you're just going to be just fine. So it's such a fine line. What kind of strategy were you running on today, and did it actually pay off, or did you have to change it midway through?
No, the LMC guys, we discussed it beforehand, and we figured that we were going to be fast enough that trying to go slower and one stop just wasn't a strategy for us. And then, I mean, Isaac, Cohen, and Alex were the class of the field without doubt today. I mean, Alex just got unlucky, spun, which got me the 3rd. I mean, if he'd done that on the first pit stop, he would have passed me again. Not a problem. It's just it happened late enough that he didn't have a chance to come back from it.
So back-to-back podiums. So are you ready for next season to start already, like next week, to keep up the momentum?
Not next week. Do we have? I have to wait. Oh.
Way to break the bad news to him.
It's like that football team that doesn't make the playoffs, but he has like 3 really good weeks in a row. You're like, man, I'm ready for next season to start, and you have to wait. But hey, I mean, what you gotta go out on a high note. I mean, 2 back-to-back podiums, not bad. Can't really.
No,
complain,
I will not complain. It's it makes up for the poor Indianapolis showing. So basically that was the one stain on an otherwise good season, and we're up and up from here on in, I hope.
Well, listen, you've had an awesome race and an awesome season. I'm going to probably look to be racing you in a couple times on some ovals next year. Got any shout outs, anything you want to pimp, anything that you want to talk about before we send you on your way?
I got to thank LMC Gear for sponsoring us. They sponsor the league, they sponsor our team, and sponsor the car. They're great bunch of guys, great bunch of equipment, and get it for all your motorcycle camping needs. Got to thank Alliance Group for sponsoring the race. It's nice of them to do that. It keeps us on the track, and hopefully the fans are enjoying what the sponsors are putting on.
Craig, third place. Great job.
Thank you. You guys stay safe.
All right, you too. Well, there you go, Chris. Craig Forsyth, your
Nick.
third place podium guy.
Craig Forsyth, you mentioned finishing third in this race, and I'm actually talking right now with Chris Lewis in Discord here. We're just chatting about the racing and stuff, but fantastic race. And let's see who else we got out here, because I want to wait a second before we talk with our champion and with our winner of the race. I'm stalling because I'm trying to get back to the channel. There we go. Mr. McDonald, I want to speak with him. He had a great race tonight. See if I can get Discord to cooperate with me here for a second.
What was going on when we had the IndyCar going? Let's see.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a pretty good idea here. Daniel, you got a copy, sir?
Hello.
Hello, sir. So we got a little question for you. Obviously, first off, congratulations on the great run tonight. You had a fantastic car, and I think you were one of the only cars to not have issues in turn 9. But the question we have, we were on board with you with 3 laps to go. Were you in fuel save mode?
Yes, I was indeed. I'd start saving fuel at the end of my first stint, and then I got to the second stint. I tried a different strategy, and then with about 3 laps to go, I was like, there is no way I'm making this.
So do you just change the fuel map?
Yeah, just stuck it in mix 8 and just lifted everywhere.
Chris. There you go. That's what I thought. He put it down to 8, and he was just cruising right along, trying to stay out of everyone's way. But hey, man, you made it. You finished and got a top 5 out of it. Hey, better be lucky than good some days, right?
That's true. I'm happy though. I'm happy.
Yeah, talk about the race in itself, though. You obviously had some real good racing, good passing out there on the track. You were fast early. You made a couple of great passes out there. Talk about your race there.
At the start, it was all right. I didn't really get the start I wanted to. I think I got stuck behind Matt for a little bit. But once I got past him, it was fine. I was just plain sailing. I was catching up to Craig. But it was all good. Didn't really do much practicing for this. The quali was technically in my practice. But other than that, I just ran my own race. I started getting quicker, obviously, as I got more laps in. And I got more comfortable with the track and the setup.
Well, there you go. Daniel McDonald, the Allen Iverson of the race league this year.
The answer.
Practice. We're talking about practice.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Well, Daniel, send shout out to whoever you'd like to here, bud.
Well, just shout out to Cohen for winning the title and Isaac for winning. I think is that 5 races?
I believe that's 5 from what I counted. Yeah.
5. Yeah. That's mental. But just them.
We see you next season.
Yes.
All right,
hopefully.
there we go. We got a committal.
Hopefully.
All right.
Love it. Nice job, Daniel.
See you later.
You too, buddy.
Good job.
Daniel McDonald, 5th place finish in that 73 car. And let's bring up the other UK and I guy. This time, this is the guy in victory lane for the 5th time this season. Batted over 50% this year, but unfortunately going to look at a couple races as your downfall. But let's celebrate tonight. Let's forget about the other 7 races. You won tonight at Watkins Glen, Mr. Isaac. Congratulations on that.
You pulled in the wrong guy, but thank you. I thank you.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Hey, Alex, congratulations on the win. You win 4th place, as the people that like to tick me off would say. You didn't finish 4th if you won. You didn't win if you finished 4th, right? Then how do you win 4th? There's my rant for the night. Anyways, Alex, we'll come back to you. How's that? Sorry, buddy.
Sure thing.
We're going to talk to the 4th place guy. I'm going to talk to Alex, but I'm like, how do I say this without being rude? Oh, boy. Yeah. This is one of those nights. Anyways, Isaac Morris, you're the right guy this time. There's Isaac. We had Alex on the mic. Don't mind me. But Isaac, congratulations. Your 5th win in 8 races, over 50% average, which is good. But you're unfortunately going to shake off a little bit what happened the other races. So let's just celebrate tonight. Talk about the race and how dominant you were.
I wouldn't say I was dominant.
I don't know,
So-
man. The stats from our point of view is pretty dominant.
The only reason I managed to finish with the lead that I had was due to mistakes of other people. If Alex and others didn't make mistakes, it would have been a really close race. Because Alex, in the first stint, he was right up my rear wing, and he ran a good race for the whole first stint. He really kept me on my toes. But generally, the race was great. The car was great. The confidence levels were extremely high tonight as well. Really wanted to finish the season on a high. And I don't think you.
I was going to ask about that. I mean, were you racing with a little bit of anger this week, just showing the last 2 weeks and trying to make up ground in the championship? I mean, you had to make a statement. You did the best you absolutely could.
I wouldn't say it's anger, but I'd say it's more fire. Like
Okay.
I had like a drive in me to really like do well tonight, because obviously like the last 2 weeks haven't been my best weeks, and yeah, I know I've had the success with the other 4 races that I've won this season, but like, you don't want people to think, oh, he's only good around certain types of tracks. Like, I wanted to be dominant in this season, but unfortunately it wasn't possible. But yeah.
Well, you definitely put an exclamation point on your season. That's one way to go out. I'm guessing you're literally looking forward to next season now.
Oh yeah, I'm itching for it to
yeah.
start already.
Just everyone that we've talked to so far in the top 5, they're like, man, bring it on. We're ready to go next week. That's awesome. So yeah, man, it's a little bit of you won the battle, but not the war. But you got your flag staked, and you're going to be, probably make a return next season. You probably have already made those mental notes of where you made up the mistakes during the season. Maybe not make those again. So you can't really frown that you learned a lot, probably. Man, you drove an awesome race, whether you think that the guys behind you had accidents or not, but you got to finish it. So you did it, and it looked pretty dominant from our point of view. So congratulations.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah, Isaac, great job tonight. And something tells me here in the near future, you and I are going to be flying to Le Mans.
Yes, we are. Very soon.
Yeah, thankfully it's a long flight because I need to learn.
Yeah. Well, you sat right. You sat next to the right person.
Woohoo! All right. All right. So basically, Isaac and I are going to be running with the team for LMCgear.com. We're going to run a 24-hour Le Mans race in a couple weeks, but.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to try not to put the car in the wall. Anyways, so we move on. Isaac, great job on the win, and congratulations. Top 3 points finish, it looks like. I believe we'll have to see officially, but I know it's going to be close to there. So, but either way, nice job.
Is it double points for the last race?
That's a Jim Herrick question or even a Chris Lewis question. I don't know that answer. I didn't get the word on that. So
He's recovering every point possible, Chris.
if so, you might be the champion. Let's. But no, nice job tonight, Isaac.
If I was to be champion, I'd need like 16 times the amount of points.
You would need the luck of the Irish.
Oh yes, I would.
Hey, you have a good night, buddy.
Hey, thank you, man.
Now, this was actually the time of the broadcast, Gary, where I was going to bring Alex up real quickly because we were going to talk to Alex before we talk to our champion. So let's get Alex back up here. Alex, I apologize for being so rude. But we did want to talk to you about your 4th place run this evening in the race, and I believe you're still going to get a top 3 points finish. I'm assuming 2nd, but again, I haven't seen numbers yet, so I don't want to assume anything. But a great season in the end. 3 top 5 finishes and 2 wins to wrap the season up. The momentum is there. You're probably that guy that's like, all right, next week's the season, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted one more race. It was a frustrating race, but a good first stint. I finished ahead of Matt, and he was right behind me in the championship. I don't know how far ahead I was of Isaac, but I think I'm in second. So.
And we'll have to see. Now, I will not accept turn 9 as an answer to this question. What happened over in turn 9?
Which one? Because I had 3 spins.
Oh, well, let's see. Actually, you had the one before turn 9. There were so many wrecks in turn 9, I should have noted who didn't wreck in turn 9. You actually had yours before turn 9. You were over in the heel is where you lost your car, correct?
Yeah, coming out of the heel. Finding wonderful new places to spin. I hadn't done that in practice at all, so oh well.
Well, either way, great season this season for you. Top 3 finish at least, a 4th place run, and we look forward to releasing the schedule, Alex. But go ahead and send shout-outs to whoever you'd like to.
Sure. I didn't get a podium, but thank you to Jim Herrick and...
Points-wise.
Oh, sorry?
Points-wise.
Oh, I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, yeah, so...
Oh.
It's been a long night.
I heard that.
But thank you to Jim Herrick and LMCgear.com. It's been an awesome season. Jim's done an awesome job running this team and helping out running the league. Thank you to Samsung for sponsoring me for the back half of the season. It's been really good having them on board. Big thanks to Chris. I know he's in this channel. He's done a great job running the league. I had a lot of fun, learned so much. Really looking forward to season 3. And congrats to Cohen on the championship.
There you go. Alex Van Desant, 4th place run. Should be top 3 in points unofficially. Congrats on that. And we'll get the season going here shortly so you can get your momentum rolling and keep it going.
Sure. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Gary.
Absolutely. Alex.
See you next season.
Van Desant, 4th place finish here this evening. Mistaken him for Isaac tonight. I was waiting for myself to do that one time throughout the season. So right now got the owner of the series here, the TI IndyCar Series, the actual name, iRacing IndyCar Series. Of course, we know it as the LMCgear.com iRacing IndyCar Series. Chris Lewis is with us. Chris, we ready to crown the champion, sir?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
All right, let's bring him up here. Cohen Evans, the champion of season number 2. Congratulations, Cohen. I'm going to hand it to Chris, who, virtually, we can't hand you the hardware on Discord, but we can at least congratulate you. So, Chris, I'll let you have it there.
Yeah, congrats, buddy. I thought you were going to have it in season 1, but you finally take it home in season 2. Good job, even though you're not on my team. But, yeah, congrats. Hope you enjoy it and spend that money wisely.
Yeah, thank you. I learned my lesson in season 1 on being consistent and every race matters. So, yeah.
You made it count.
Yeah, I made sure I finished every race this season. It paid off.
Did you have flashbacks, Chris, or Cohen, sorry, of season 1 when you spun over in the toe?
No. Yeah, no, not really. Because at that point, I already knew I had it wrapped up because only 17 people started. And that was kind of a mistake by me. Because what happened was I had my push-to-talk button, the same button as my push-to-pass. I couldn't talk to my mates in Discord. So I was trying to talk to them in the corners, and I eventually just got distracted and spun. But I tried to get out of the way as fast as I could and make sure no one hit me.
Yeah, I think he even drove backwards a half a mile.
Yeah, I was about to do a U-donut thing, and then I saw people come, and I stopped, hit the brakes real quick.
Well, talk about the season. Obviously, you were Mr. Consistent out there on the track. Lots of top 5s, lots of wins, or I don't have the number. I think it was 1 or 2 wins on the season. I don't have the number in front of me here. But you got a lot of poles, a lot of top 5s, and just consistently finished races. And we mentioned it, I think it was back at Indianapolis. I was talking about how you were consistent, and the big difference between you and at the time Isaac was the race at Laguna Seca. And then obviously Isaac had his issues, and it became Alex and I just went brain dead with the other name, running second in points there with Matt Houston, those guys there. And you've come back now and just kept being consistent and got you the championship.
Yeah, it really.
Was that champagne I just heard?
Did I just hear a cork pop?
I thought I just heard that. Did anybody else?
I swear I heard a cork pop.
that was my riff, Oculus Rift. I was loosening it.
Right.
You want me to do it again?
that sounded like a cork pop where I'm from.
He's taking a little bit of the bubbly. All right. I like it. I like it.
Well, talk about that the season, though, how good it was for you.
Yeah, since the start of the race one in Silverstone, I kind of just took it easy and didn't force anything. Just, not make any mistakes, because I knew at the end of the day, any mistake could cost me the championships after I learned that last year. So I just took each race kind of easy, not push super hard all the time, but push hard when it mattered. And yeah, at the end of the day, it paid off.
Now, we're about to release the schedule here very shortly for Season 3. Obviously, some interesting tracks on here, and I'm not going to spoil it out there, but how much are you looking forward to just enjoying this and getting back on the track and going?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, especially get a new season going, reset the championship, and maybe have a competitive championship fight down to the last season or race.
Well, Cohen, congratulations. As we like to do, you can send shout-outs to whoever you'd like to tonight, as you are officially a champion.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jim and LMC Gear for giving me this opportunity, Chris Lewis for hosting this league, and TI Racing. And I'd like to say hi to my mom, because I know she misses me right now.
And by the way, we did not we got a surprise for you. For the championship, you actually get to buy everyone dinner at of course I just ruined the joke because I forgot the place's name, but St. Elmo's in Indianapolis, so congratulations.
Yeah,
I want a shrimp cocktail.
That's what they're famous for. Hey, nice job, Cohen.
Thank you.
Man.
Cohen Evans, the champion. Gary, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. I have officially, this broadcast has gone out of hand on my end today, so I apologize to the viewers. The director has totally ruined things tonight. Anyways, say Chris Lewis is...
Podcasts going worse. I've seen podcasts go in worse directions than this, so we're doing fine. We're doing fine.
That's a very fair point. But Chris Lewis joins us here again tonight. We're about to unleash his schedule onto the screen. Chris, let's recap Season 2 here real quickly. Talk about the great sponsors that we had on board here from Alliance even tonight. They were on multiple races, Indiana Humane Services and Samsung, just to name a few, and not to forget any of them, obviously. But what a great season.
Yeah, it was a wonderful season. I'd really like to thank the Indiana Humane Society. That's one of the biggest sponsors that we've had in a long, long time. And to have them hop on board and to be able to run a kiddie IndyCar at Indianapolis was kind of cool, even if I lasted like 30 laps. But it's been a really good year. I'd like to thank everybody who helped my guys out. That's the only ones I can really speak for. Had a heck of a team this year. Matthew Casey, Matt Houston, Colby Wells, and of course we brought in Isaac halfway through the season. I'd like to thank our sponsors, BK Paints, Asheville Rooftop Bar Tours, Sawhorse, and I'd really like to thank Brittany. She really stepped in and helped us out a lot on the team, so I know she's watching this, so big, huge thanks to her and everybody else. I couldn't have done this without all of them. I've got the greatest team on the server. I love my guys. I couldn't ask for any better.
And right on cue, as you're saying all of this, Chris, here's another car owner, the champion car owner, Jim Herrick, is in here with us now. And I guess it would be like a political thing. If I give one guy one thing, I give him the other. Jim, you get your shout-outs too now.
Oh, thanks. I was just popping in. I didn't know you were still alive, but I give a shout-out to my guys, Cohen, the champion. Craig had a great race tonight, finishing third, and everybody has done so well this year, and keeping the LMCgear.com team up in front. So, yeah, shout out to all those guys and everybody here in the broadcast booth, Chris, you and Gary, and Chris Lewis for putting on the league and everything. Just want to thank everybody. It's been a lot of fun.
Same.
Well,
Thanks for having
yeah,
me.
absolutely. Well, great to have you guys a part of this. And how about we release the schedule now before we get off the air here to the viewers? Are we ready?
Let's do it.
Bada bam.
Yeah.
On the screen officially, the schedule for next season in the LMCgear.com iRacing IndyCar Series. It'll kick off at Detroit. We're going Belle Isle to start the season there, Gary. 53 laps on that bumpy track. September 28th, so that's literally 28 days from now, or something like that. 3 weeks or so from now, we'll be 53 laps on that fun circuit owned by the Penske Group there. And then we got a Brands Hatch. That's a fun track that I'm going to be honest with you, as of right now, I will know something about it at that point. I know absolutely nothing about that track at all. I only know how to spell Brands Hatch, and that's it, Gary.
Well, Brands Hatch is a known road course where over racers tend to do pretty good there. Rick Mears is one there. AJ Foyt's one there. So you might see some more folks pop their entry in there and to jump into that particular race just because of how oval friendly, I guess, that road course is, so to speak.
I might have to go run some laps here, get some practice. Then we come back here to Watkins Glen, October 12th. That'll be race number 3. And then we go to South Florida, Homestead, the first of, as you see, 2 ovals on the series. Homestead for 120 laps there. That is going to be a fun track. Chris, talk about what you're seeing on the schedule here. A very a mix, obviously, of tracks here. You got the street circuit, Detroit, then we hit a couple road courses, then we hit the oval there at Homestead, and then all of a sudden we jump on an airplane and we go to Monza.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited, especially about Detroit. We ran that in season 1. Complete disaster. I think we had 5 cars finish. So
oh boy,
those walls are unforgiving there.
Oh yeah, it's so tight too.
Yeah,
It'll be fun. We've got a great setup guy that builds the setups for these tracks. He's already got them built. These guys are going to have plenty of time to practice. So,
and we
so
take
is it the standard Formula One course for Monza?
yeah.
Okay.
Very good. So you'll get a lot of chicanes and long straightaways there. That should be fun. And then we take a week off for Halloween. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to be for Halloween this year. Then we come back to Indianapolis November 9th for the Indiana 250 that we ran earlier this season. And then we go to Canada again, but not Mosport this time. We hit the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve up there in Canada. Another, I guess we'll call street circuit, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like a half purpose built, and then there's a little bit of because it's a park. So it's a lot smoother than Detroit, and I think it's a lot more technical. I think because the way it has, but there's also some nice. I love that after the hairpin, that really long straight leading to that really quick right left combination that brings you back up onto the main stretch there. That is actually as road courses go, fun for me to drive.
And what is that wall called? I got to test you on it.
Is it the Shoemaker Wall?
Oh, the Wall of Champions.
Oh, the Wall of Champions. Well, Shoemaker was champion so many times. So,
his name's on the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and here's the one, I saw this course on here, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here. Daytona. Now, I have to ask, is this going to be the road course IMSA or road course NASCAR with the chicane coming out of turn 4?
Probably going to be the ISMA road course.
All right.
All right. That should be a very fun 42 laps there. Then we go to the track that's literally 10 minutes from where I sit right now, Road Atlanta, 54 laps around that awesome track. And then we go to Le Mans to finish the season off, December 7th. Probably going to be freezing cold at that point there, but it's going to be a fun 18 laps to see IndyCars drive on very long straightaways. That is going to be fun in the Circuit de la Sarthe. I believe I pronounced that correctly at Le Mans. So there you go. The 10-race schedule. Gary, what gets your hopes up outside of ovals?
The Brands Hatch edition, Monza edition, the Daytona Road Course, and Le Mans. All those, as an oval racer, those all pretty excite me. I appreciate the admins adding a second oval with Homestead. I know there was a lot of debate in there. Some guys saying, well, I'm not going to race if there's another oval. And other guys like, I'll participate more if there's an oval. So we'll see if people put their money where their mouth is on that one. Of course, I'd like to race in that one, but I'd also want to broadcast with you because broadcasting an oval race is more my strength. So I don't know if I'm going to race in that one. But man, me and my teammate, we totally have Indianapolis circled. That place owes us.
Maybe I'll give you the booth and I'll go run the race. Anyways, you don't want that.
Indianapolis owes us. And when I talked about Isaac racing with anger today, Rick absolutely will be racing with anger next for this particular race. And do not be surprised if it looks like 1994 with Rick Mears, where he beats the field by an entire lap. He is that mad.
Wow, that should be fun. I was going to ask Chris, but Jim, you're still here with us here. What do you like about the schedule? What do you see that's like, man, I'm going to enjoy this?
Yeah, I like Monza. That's a track that we were actually considering for season 2. Just didn't quite have the room for it, so I'm looking forward to that track. It's fast and fun. Le Sarthe is going to be another one. I've never run the IndyCar there, so I'm expecting that to be a really fun race. Big draft down the straightaways, and
oh my god,
hopefully keep the packs tight together, so there's some good racing there.
I just pictured in my head the IndyCars going through the Porsche curves.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. Well, Jim, you and Chris do a great job. We appreciate you guys coming up here and talking with us and letting us do this, and we're going to continue to work on things. But we appreciate you allowing Captain TV and myself and of course, Gary coming up here with us this year after the last couple of races. We're looking forward to this series. I'm going to take a couple Mondays off, and who knows, if you guys run practice races, maybe I'll jump in there and run a couple laps with you guys and finish last so that no one else has to worry about that. So, but we appreciate you doing what you do, Chris, what you do, and with all the sponsors and stuff. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I especially want to thank you for stepping in, after our season already started and kind of short notice and helping us out. That was just a big help to us. And we're really looking forward to a strong season 3. That's going to be fun. A couple extra races, and I just can't wait to do it again. I need the break, though. I need the 3 weeks off to get everything ready. So,
well,
I need the break, but I can't wait to get started again.
Well, you and I think, both do in this standpoint, but you have worked a lot harder than I do. I mean, I know I got a lot of things I do too, but that's actually going to lead into what I was going to discuss here real quickly before we get off the air. Is a lot of people probably know by now I deliver at FedEx. And I've been working a schedule to where I've been working Monday through Friday almost every night after 8 o'clock. And, luckily all but once I made it here before the start of the race, but it wasn't without me having to rush a little bit to get everything on the air and things like that outside of what I was able to get set up beforehand. Well, my schedule is going to be changing here in the next week or two. So before we start the Detroit race, I will no longer be working on Mondays. Unless I volunteer to do so, which then I'll be done way early. So look for these broadcasts to get even better come season 3, as I plan to probably open up the pre-race show a little bit more and have some fun little features. You saw where I tested out the whole rookie on the track thing back at Circuit of the Americas. I had to remember the track and that kind of thing. So we might try some fun things broadcast-wise also, but definitely look forward to improving everything for you guys. Schedule-wise, broadcasting-wise next season, and of course have Gary up there, and we're looking forward to that. So Jim, September 28th is marked on my calendar. I can't wait.
That's great. We're really looking forward to it, and I want to especially thank you for making such a big move in your personal life to help accommodate us. That's not something I would ever ask anybody to do, and the fact that you wanted to do that to be able to broadcast for us is really great. So just thank you so much for that. And we really look forward to next season. We're just going to keep making it better and just keep having fun.
Absolutely. It's one of many reasons. I mean, there's plenty of different personal reasons that I won't talk about here when it comes to life and stuff. But yeah, definitely one of the things in my head was, I can be there now early enough to, put the stream on early, let people watch qualifying and stuff instead of having to wait to the last minute and all of a sudden I jump on the grid and that kind of thing. So looking forward to that. That's September 28th. But Jim, we appreciate you coming up here, and we're going to wrap up everything and go enjoy a couple weeks of vacation.
All righty. Thank you very much. And yeah, you guys all have a good break, and everybody have a good night.
Absolutely.
We'll catch you later.
Now, there's one last thing that we're going to do before we go. I promised everybody this. I'd get a photo. You're going to get this website I'm pulling up here because I was having issues outside of that. So, Rochester, New York, which is about 90 minutes north of Watkins Glen, is home of the garbage plate. What is the garbage plate? The garbage plate is going to be on the screen here when I turn the schedule off. You will see it right now. Here is the garbage plate. So the garbage plate consists of either hot dogs or hamburgers with potatoes, macaroni salad, ground beef, I believe, is on there also if you do hot dogs, chili, mustard, ketchup, you name it, it's on it. That is a garbage plate. It literally looks like garbage, but you eat it, and people love it up there. It's weird. Don't ask why. I'm not sure the answer. I don't have it for you. But there is, as promised, the garbage plate, based out of Rochester, New York, where I moved from when I came from here. So there you go. Gary, it looks like you'd probably eat that. I wouldn't.
I could probably get into that a little bit, but it does look like a little bit of a stomach ache ready to happen. So, hey, it gets cold up there, so
a wee bit.
you gotta pad yourself. So that's fine. That's fine. I mean, when we were in Canada, we didn't talk about poutine, so
good point.
We kind of missed an opportunity with that, but. Maybe a segment in each one of your races about some local fare. If we can find such things for next year, might liven some things up in the meantime. But we'll that looks like oof, you moved it off the screen.
Yeah, sorry guys.
That thing is it looks like it's gonna you might have some tums.
Now you gotta now I gotta think what Detroit's famous for. Thanks.
Pizza. One of their pizzas.
There's too many places with pizzas. But anyways, let's get off the air before they kick us off. Anyways, we appreciate everybody watching tonight. Of course, I'll be back in 3 weeks with Gary. We'll have fun, and I'll definitely be ready to go and look for some improved broadcasting, some great racing, and so much more here on Captain TV. We appreciate everybody watching. Meanwhile, if you're a follower, we got other series that we're going to be covering throughout this off week. Again, Wednesday night got Truck Series racing and so much more. So make sure you do stick around outside of Monday nights for some great racing. So, Gary Godso, appreciate you, sir. We'll see you in Detroit in a few weeks.
You betcha. Detroit's actually one of my least favorite tracks, so at least we get that one out of the way. The rest of that schedule is just stellar. I'm excited. But hey, follow me on Twitter, Gary Gatto. That's about it. It's been great working with you. I'm looking forward to next year, and let's do it. Let's get this going. I'm ready. I'm like the guys. I'm ready to go next week. Let's go. Let's do it.
And as Gary learned earlier today in a race he ran, this is such a true statement. If somebody gets mad at you and says it's just a game, no, it's iRacing. See ya.
Walk away.